Hello everyone, my name is Qasxz and I'm back with part 3 of this. Well, I could call it a special episode by now because there's so many parts. Uh, anyway, we're almost done with this build. We're just going to want to make some details around the place. So, for example, I want some bushes around here. I can remove that button and just placing some bushes around makes a big difference. And I want a bit of a road um, for our gardener to reach the flowers, and then he can give them water, and that's all gonna be good. So I want a path over there, and then I want some logs over here. I want some logs in between these bushes, not because I need them, because the leaves don't disappear when you place them by hand, but because it just feels like it's the right thing to do, and just feels like the bushes are gonna be very happy with me placing some logs in there for them. Alright, put some logs around the edges of the build, of the hill, I should say. And then let's place some more leaves. And as always with making things that are more natural than a house, it doesn't matter if where you place your leaves, it's gonna be absolutely perfect. But sometimes you just wanna go back and trim it a little bit and give it a little bit more of a lively shape. Uh, so I want my logs to be covered with leaves on all 6 sides of the blocks. So I don't want to actually see the log texture. And over here I just want to have some flowers. And then place some leaves on front of it. Alright, make it up a little bit more. And then we can have it like that. You can use different types of leaves. Use different types of leaves all together. Um, will make it look a lot more interesting. I'm only using oak leaves right now. But I think I'm gonna change which leaves I'm using in a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of a more interesting texture. Um, I enjoy mostly using oak and birch leaves together because I think they're the most leafy of the leaves, and just gives it a little bit of an interesting uh, color, those two together. They have a nice texture that goes together very well. Oops. But you can also use the other leaves, of course, like the jungle leaves. Though I personally don't really like the jungle leaves. I think they're uh, too textured. I think the jungle leaves have those little green blobs on there, which I don't like. But if you like them, of course, use them. It's your build, and the most important thing is that you think your build looks great. And if you're also showing your build to others, giving things a little bit more interesting colors and shapes usually makes the build more interesting. So I'm also putting some little bushes on the hill down there, uh, just to give it a little bit of a more interesting shape. And then I want a little bit of a hedge over here, so I don't want this guy to be too large, but I still want them there to kind of um, give the idea that it's the end of the pot, you know. So make it 2 blocks tall, but not too thick. And let's put a pot in here. Let's do that. So I want grass over there. Don't want to have it too wide, the pot over here, because this is just gonna be another pot. I don't think this is gonna be our main pot, but I don't know yet. Uh, we'll still have to see. Maybe this will be our main pot, but I think I'm going to have our main pot kind of follow in this direction, and I want this one a bit wider. And I want the pot in this direction because like that, looking at the build from up where the camera is at, uh, really makes your eye follow through to the build. Like you can see the pot, and it's not too much of a puzzle where everything should be. Alright, so let's make some hedges over here. Just put on a little bit of log and then just fill it in with some leaves. I want most of the grass covered with leaves, but not quite all of it. Well, next to the pot, I should say. Because I want to still have some grass in the middle where I can put some trees, some flowers, and make it all look pretty, you know? And again, like the hedge on the other side of our bridge, we're going to have it be clearly defined where it is and not too too large. Right next to our castle, there's some really big hedges, but these are gonna be a little bit more small, a bit more elegant. Alright, one more leaf over there. We don't want to see too much of the log. And then we're gonna do the same over here. And maybe the road over here. It leads to another village, and the big road leads to the big city or something like that. Alright. Alright, so let's just put in a couple of tall flowers. Kind of want to space them out a bit. Don't want to have too many of them. And kind of alternate them so you don't have too much of the same color next to each other. And one of those over there. Alright, so let's actually have this garden not be so flat. It's a little bit flat, so let's make it a bit hilly over here. It gives it a little bit more of an interesting shape and size. And then let's just start building trees. So I think we're gonna have a couple of trees, but not too many. I don't want this to be a forest, you know. This some rich guy living up there on the hill, and he has some trees around his house. So, as with a lot of things in this plot, trees are not supposed to be perfectly shaped. So you're gonna have a lot of different shapes and sizes of trees in real life, and the same in Minecraft. So you don't want to think too much about where you're placing, because the tree is supposed to be alive. It needs to feel like it's totally unique. So maybe these trees are even kissing a little bit like that. So how I usually build trees is just start with the logs and then just fill in the leaves where you think there needs to be leaves. Uh, Building oak trees is really easy because it's just um, basically a big ball of leaves on top of some logs, so they're nice and easy to make. So if you're a beginner, I would start with those. Oops. And then have some logs near the bottom, but not too much. Alright, so I want the tree somewhat over here. Actually, let's just use normal oak logs for this one. Excuse me. And I'm making the logs extend downwards because I just like the way it looks. It makes it look like the tree is actually growing here. Like it's not just planted here. It's actually been growing here since the day the tree was born, and it's kind of taken over the land, you know. And have some branches in there. Not too much. Don't wanna overdo it. And then again, just place the leaves around. Try to not leave any airspace in your leaf ball, because that's you're gonna be able to see that from the outside. So you don't want that happening, and well, it would just be a bummer if your leaf ball was hollow and people will be able to see that. So just place a lot of leaves out there, and don't be scared your tree will look too big, because actually trees are actually quite large. So you just want to put on as many leaves as you can, and then don't, just don't worry about it being too large. I don't think it will ever be too large. And if it looks too large on one side, well, maybe it's just because on the other side it's just not large enough. Alright, so there we go. Another tree done, I think. I'm gonna make it a little bit more rounded over here. And top it off over here a little bit. Alright, so that's that, and then I want some tall grass to fill in the empty space of our grass over here, because I think that's kind of one of those things that people may forget to do, which really does a lot to make your area look like it's more finished, you know. So that's why I like putting in the tall grass. You can also put the single high tall grass blocks, but I decided to use double high tall grass blocks for this time. Right, so we need a door in our house still. What kind of door do we want? Let's go with a birch door, nice and bright. And whoops. We'll also have to have a floor in our house, so actually I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm just gonna go outside and fix this up a little bit. So let's have a window over here. I think that's a nice idea. So let's grab some stained glass. I think we used light gray. And then just like downstairs, we're going to give the illusion of having some curtains in there. So let's do that. And put some flowers in front of the window. Oops. When I have all my trapdoors on the same level. Not that it matters, but I just want that. And then let's put in some tulips. I'm using kind of light colors for the flowers. Because I think if you're going with too bright of a color, you kind of end up ruining your own build. You kind of it distracts too much if you go with too bright a color, but the green complements the green of the build very well. And then there's also the pink and the white, which are really light colors. They're not too in your face, so they're kind of safe to use in that regard. Alright, so I'll quickly fill in this floor and then we'll see what we do with the rest of the build. Alright, so I filled in the floor. So now let's put in some light in here. So we'll again use glowstone with trapdoors on it. And I think what we're gonna do is actually extend these logs that we put in earlier. I think that would kind of fit with the theme, and this build is tall enough that it doesn't really get in the way too much, so I think we can easily get away with having like beams of wood all across the building like this. Don't want to go out too much and have a beam like that. You want to really decide which beam is the lowest. So this one is going to be the lowest, so it's going to be facing this way. And then we can do something like this. We can easily put the lighting in here. What you can also do is put torches on here. For something like this, it's forgivable if you use torches. But I just don't like torches there. There's the particles that come off it, and then I just don't like. Oh, almost forgot this one. And let's put some glowstone in there as well. And then we need a staircase going up. So let's first make that with polished andesite, and then we'll make it out of slabs later. think having a staircase like this would work, right? Let's do it. And I'm not too concerned about it looking out of place, because I'm not too concerned about people going inside of this building, to be honest. We're going to have basically only the staircase for our interior, but if you want, you can always just make it more detailed. So we're going to remove those and put these going upwards like this. And then we'll also have a bit of a darker pillar in the middle, because we don't want to fall out of our staircase, although it's gonna be quite open still. But it should help a little bit having it like that. I think that's good enough for our staircase. I'm not too concerned about it. Can you even walk up if I do it like that? Yes, you can. Alright, perfect. Gonna put a stair or a wall over there so you don't fall down. Same with over here and over here. Perfect. And then you have your little walkway over here to the tower. And let's continue the theme of having cross beams in our build. So let's put them everywhere where we see a log from the outside. So there's going to be a lot of cross beams basically. Almost every other block. And then we can use that to put some lighting in again. Put the glowstone with the trapdoors on, well, whichever beam you want. I'm doing every other beam for this area. And then we still need to continue our roof. So, as I said before, I think I want to have one more floor on this thing, and then and that's going to be the end of it. But it's not going to be too much of a floor. Just basically want something so it doesn't look too out of place to have the roof a bit higher over here. So let's continue these guys upwards. Again, put the logs out there like we did on the previous floor, if you remember from last part of the episode. And then are we gonna do this like this? That works. Works perfectly. And then like this. Put some trapdoors on the logs. Grab some more dark prismarine for the in-between bits, like right there and right here. And grab some more green clay. And I don't think I'm gonna do too much detailing on this floor. Because one, it's the top floor, it's supposed to be a little bit more crude. Let's actually do it like that. put in an extra support beam over there because it looks a little bit out of place if there's just nothing there. And now this is quite a strange shape to be building a roof on, so let's see what I can do. And quick disclaimer, usually I plan my builds mostly, but I haven't planned this bit of the build. So if it ends up looking a bit silly, that's why. So anyway, let's put in some stairs like this. No, actually let's make the roof go this way. Because we want it to be perpendicular to this bit of roof. So we're going to have the angle go like that. Right? Well, let's do it. Alright, let's put a slab under there. And then we would have a stair over here, I think, so let's put a slab up there. And just like the previous bit of roof, I'm not making it like a perfect pyramid shape, but I'm making it a bit more curvy. Oops. Alright, let's go down like this, and then we meet up over there. Alright, let's put some green behind that, just to make it look a bit more consistent from the outside. Put a slab under there. No, actually, let's put a lock under there. And then let's continue with the stairs. Make it go up a block and then have it be like this. Yeah, that seems good. And then let's just continue this bit all the way like this. Just making it a bit easy for myself, because it's always easier to change later on than to come up with something entirely new. So let's just do it like this. And I feel like this middle bit needs to be a bit wider. Like right there. And then one stair block. Is that how I did it? Yeah, that's how I did it. And then two slabs. Two slabs again, and then there's the end. Now for this section, let's just go with a stair, 3 slabs, and then 1 slab down. Having difficulty placing blocks all of a sudden. And then let's finish off where we can see outside. And I think that's not the greatest roof I've ever built. Let's at least make this section extend outwards a bit. And then we can give it a bit more detail by, for example, putting some of these under there and some of this. Actually, let's do some upside down stairs underneath there. Give it a bit more detail. And if you were having a bigger plot, you could, of course, extend the building a bit more and then make it a bit better. I think this roof needs a lot of work, to be honest, and maybe make it a bit more point if you want to. So anyway, I think that was it for today's episode of The Joy of Building. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.